Hello and welcome to my channel, iWinDelu's Gaming. Large hat enthusiasts rejoice, as patch 3.3 was chock full of Scaramouche's very large and well-adhered hat. In this video, I'll be going over the 5 biggest winners of patch 3.3. So in patch 3.3 we have a lot of exciting new content coming, and some of this content will have varying degrees of impact on Genshin Impact's meta and character power levels. In particular, the introduction of 2 new artifact sets and a new support character should provide some substantial gains for our favorite colorful cast of characters. But really quick, it's time to pay some bills, and today's sponsor is Sacred Summons. Sacred Summons is an MMORPG available on both PC and mobile. Start your journey by choosing one of 5 epic classes, like this dragon polearm dude and a tiger gunslinger. Then customize your perfect husbando or waifu with its excessively detailed and intricate character creation tool. There are also over 100 mounts, costumes, and wings to collect to really stand out from the crowd. Combat in Sacred Summons is absurdly epic. You'll get to chuck magical umbrellas and giant butterflies at oversized Omega waifus. And now is literally the perfect time to start your journey because you'll get 100 free summon tickets if you play today. That's right, 100 entire summons. I've personally never seen so many free summons before. You can also meet your one true love and get married in Sacred Summons. Alternatively, you can be much less social and enjoy all this eye candy alone as well, or play with friends if you have those. So what are you waiting for? Smash that link down below and download Sacred Summons today. Huge thanks to Sacred Summons for sponsoring today's video. Now the first biggest winner of patch 3.3 is Faruzan, our favorite granny who is trapped in a puzzle for 100 years that likely our traveling MC and her floating marshmallow assistant could probably finish in a Saturday afternoon, is going to be our first dedicated Anemo damage buffer. We have been long overdue for a character that specializes on this. Let's take a look at this nifty chart I made for you guys. With this assortment of colorful X's and check marks, we can see that the current Anemo buffers that buff Anemo damage, Jean and Sucrose, are both lacking something in their kit for optimal buffing. Jean, prior to her Constellation 4, is basically not a support character for Anemo DPS characters. After Constellation 4 though, she does gain the incredibly valuable and sought after 40% Anemo resistance shred. And if you do happen to have the Freedom Sword and you're able to somehow pry it from a certain Ronin Samurai's hands and give it to the acting Grandmaster, then you actually have a very formidable Anemo damage buffer, providing some bonuses to both the attack multiplier and bonus damage multiplier. Jean can also heal, and thus she only really lacks proficiency in the grouping department, but that's at Constellation 4 Jean with a Freedom Sworn, which is quite prohibitively expensive to say the least. Up next we have our favorite dog-eared alchemist, Sucrose. Sucrose is a far more free-to-play friendly option than a Constellation 4 Jean, who also happens to generate a lot more particles. She provides a very practical amount of grouping and a 50% uptime Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer's buff. But overall, Sucrose really doesn't actually increase an Anemo DPS character's damage by very much. Then comes Faruzan, who was clearly stated during the livestream to have all these checkmarks. Anemo resistance shred, check. Damage bonus, check. Some contribution to the attack multiplier, and of course, as we can clearly see, some grouping as well. On top of all this, Faruzan can equip the Elegy for the End for some additional attack and elemental mastery for the team. I just hope they don't make her too clunky to use like Sara prior to Constellation 2, and that she's not too dependent on her constellations. But of course, we'll just have to wait and see. Nonetheless, it's great to finally see a dedicated Anemo support character that touches upon so many different parts of actually supporting an Anemo DPS character. And that's the perfect segue to talk about someone who is currently in the game that is actually going to be buffed by all this, Xiao. I have been saying for a very long time that Xiao needs a dedicated support character, and well, we may have actually gotten that in Faruzan. Xiao has quite a few weaknesses, including but not limited to the lack of an accessible Anemo resistant shredder that provides more buffs than Zhongli does, or the prohibitively wallet hurting or soul crushing for losing all the 50/50s Constellation 4 Jean. Xiao's supports also pretty much all lack any amount of proficient grouping, which would actually help him tremendously, especially against enemies that are easily spread out by Xiao's plunge attacks. Finally, Xiao has energy issues, and while I'm not too optimistic about Faruzan's capabilities in that regard, since the clips in the 3.3 trailer don't show a whole bunch of Anemo particles, at the very least, Faruzan is Anemo and both her and Xiao will be able to help battery each other. However, that's not the only potential buff that Xiao is receiving. He's also getting a somewhat viable artifact set as well. The new artifact set, the Desert Pavilion Chronicle, provides 15% Anemo damage for its 2-piece set bonus. Its 4-piece set bonus provides 10% attack speed and 40% bonus damage to normal, charged, and plunge attacks. After a charge attack hits an enemy though. Admittingly, this isn't the best artifact for Xiao, but it's also not terrible. It's an upgrade from 2-piece combinations like the 2-piece Gladiators plus 2-piece Echoes, which is the baseline for this chart. The Desert Pavilion provides a modest 6% gain in high plunge damage, but it's a downgrade from the 4-piece Vermilion Hereafter, which provides a 12% damage gain. However, if you haven't farmed the Vermilion Hereafter and plan to farm this new domain, then you can absolutely still use this new artifact set on Xiao, as long as you squeeze in a charge attack at some point, which actually isn't difficult to do with Xiao. So yeah, I'm personally excited to see whether or not Faruzan in particular is going to be a good character for buffing Xiao, and I think there's some real potential there. Up next is number 3. We have off-field DPS characters. Yep, another buff to the ubiquitous off-field DPS characters like Xingqiu, Yelan, Xiangling, etc. Why is that? Well, as we can see, Large Hat Man appears to enjoy staying on the field and spamming his normal attacks like no one's business. On top of that, the livestream stated that he gets buffs according to what elements he comes in contact with. We are yet again back to playing Genshin Impact, as yet another character appears to be an on-field DPS character that spams a bunch of normal attacks. Now, I would honestly find it hilarious and ridiculous if MiHoYo pulls a Raiden plus Beidou for Scaramouche and make his attacks in the air not even count as performing normal attacks, but I doubt that will be the case. Regardless, that won't hamper his ability to work with other swirlable off-field DPS characters who will see another great teammate to work with. Well, color me not so surprised, but we have another patch that will buff the already top dogs of Genshin Impact. The fourth biggest winner is going to be just this little plant thing, the Dendro Core. Every single Bloom team is going to absolutely adore the new artifact set, the 4-piece Flower of Paradise Lost. The 2-piece set bonus provides 80 Elemental Mastery, and the 4-piece set bonus provides 40% additional damage to Dendro Core related damage, with another 25% that stacks up to 4 times with a cooldown of 1 second every time a Dendro Core related reaction is triggered. So in short, after a few cores, the character gains 140% additional Dendro Core damage, and of course it works off field. If we look at this chart for a standard Iron Sting Kuki Shinobu in a Hyper Bloom team with 1000 Elemental Mastery, her Hyper Blooms do a base damage of 27,487 damage with the 4-piece Gilded Dream. Now the 4-piece Flower of Paradise Lost, of course you lose 150 Elemental Mastery, so Kuki will have 150 Elemental Mastery, but yet her Hyper Bloom damage will still jump up to 31,126 damage at 4 stacks, which is a very impressive 13% increase. Why does it increase this much even though she lost 150 Elemental Mastery? Well, it's because of the diminishing returns that Elemental Mastery provides. So the flat 140% really starts to shine with the more Elemental Mastery that you have. Basically, this new artifact set will add essentially a flat 4,050 damage to Blooms and Bountiful Cores, and 6,076 damage to Hyper Bloom and Burgeon. Characters like Kuki Shinobu and Toma are going to really enjoy their even fatter Bloom-related damage, and Nilo teams will also see a more modest but still noticeable increase to their damage output as well. And last, and probably the least biggest winner, but number 5 biggest winner of patch 3.3 is the Uber team. Yep, we finally have an incredible 4th character to add to the already overpowered overworld Uber team, the Wanderer. The Wanderer provides even more vertical mobility and even provides a great amount of horizontal mobility while in the air, at least according to these clips where he's able to dash through the air. I'm personally excited to have another stamina-free way of moving up and around and about. Will he replace Kazuha? Honestly, probably not, as I think he'll be great to use in conjunction with Kazuha for exploring the overworld. It's also nice to have what looks like an on-field main DPS character who's also great at exploration. I'm personally excited to add him to my crystal fly catching party and have him deliver various trivial ingredients to our favorite NPCs across Teyvat. So who do you think is the biggest winner of patch 3.3? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, I regularly make Genshin Impact videos ranging from Caesar showcases, DPS showdowns, guide videos, and more. So be sure to smash the subscribe button as it's the best and easiest way for you to support my work. Also, don't forget to like the video and leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. This is I Win to Lose, signing out.